YouTubers, you all ready for this? Here goes, guys. If you're living in Canada, get ready for this. Ready for this. Get ready for the Liberals' secret new carbon tax. Who's this by? The National Post. Oh my God, this is supposed to be state-run media. As Canadians emerge from the COVID-induced hibernation. The Liberal government is preparing a plan to make their lives more expensive to meet its climate targets. Now, there's just some sort of weird Paris Accord climate tonnage, whatever your country is disposing into the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. But they're not taking into effect the amount of trees we have, the amount of open acreage we have, that actually, in the grand sight of things, like Canada, for example, produces a lot more pollution than, let's say, Jamaica. But, got my Jamaica shirt on, but Jamaica releases more carbon and more crap into the air because it has less trees and less ways to absorb the pollution. Canada's sucking up the world's carbon and everything into its trees. We have more trees now today than we did 100 years ago.
Since the year 2000, the green leaf area on Earth has expanded by 5%. That equals about a couple million square miles.
And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah, we have a lot more trees on Earth today than we did 100 years ago. So what is going on? So take a look at this, guys. So now people are coming out of the COVID slumbers. I guess they're going to stop pushing that intro or that whatever that agenda on us. Signals indicate that the extra charges coming to consumer and businesses will be costly, as home heating bills and the price at the pumps dig even more deeply into Canadian pockets. Businesses, meanwhile, are potentially looking at double-digit percentage increases in energy costs. So there it is, double-digit. Now, you guys know what I pay for my gas bill at home. You guys, I've read my gas bill on here. You can look it up on my channel. A couple of $100 a month for gas in the winter. And if it goes double-digit increase, woo!
For me to go, woo!
What's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to have to increase rents on everybody. They're going to have to increase everything on everybody. But I don't have to worry because the heat in my little tiny store here is electric. I only have an electric bill here. I don't have a gas bill. And I have an internet bill by choice because of my debit machine and to watch movies on my television up there that I like to watch movies on Netflix and stuff. So there it is right there. Or YouTube. Okay. It's the green policy paradox. Government want to achieve greenhouse gas reductions at the lowest possible cost, yet in order to incentivize more environmentally friendly behavior, the price of pollution must be driven even higher. So I could see this happening if there's a total wasteland of burning everything and volcanic eruptions all over the world and setting up more soot and ash into the air than we would in 100 years. A good volcano alone puts more soot and ash into the in our ionosphere that will be picked up by the Coriolis movements of the Earth and spread it all over our upper atmosphere and block out the sun and bring in a cold age, ice age or whatever. Yes, a good volcano would do that. But the problem is they're so worried about us, and they try to pass this agenda in the 1880s and 1890s to farmers, that they had to pay taxes on methane from their cows and I guess poop. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening there. So it's like, really? The Trudeau Liberals have touted their ability to balance the demands of the economy. Why don't they balance the books? Because the next two generations in Canada, a lot of people that are fleeing here, that are like fleeing because they're starting to see uncertainty and they don't have no more confidence in their government. It's mainly European families that moved in 1-2 generations ago. And even European families that have grandparents that were from Europe now are getting the citizenship of their respected country. Yeah, that's happening actually. They don't want to let you know that in the news. So here it is. We are close in the Paris climate change targets, a reduction in emissions by 30% by 2005, levels by 2030. This is a government that is losing sense of equilibrium. So here's the problem right here, guys. You see that number right there? 2005? Florida should be underwater right now. And actually, coastlines in Florida, and some parts of Florida, are actually receding back. They're receding back. Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. Okay, the latest test of its principles will come in the month's throne speech, where the Liberals will start to explain how the Canadian economy will reach as zero net emissions by 2050. So I guess Canada will be completely a service nation. I guess it will be totally service.
What we're also guaranteeing is that this tax, this pricing price on carbon will be that this tax, this pricing price on carbon.
Yeah, it's going to be a total service nation. We can't produce, and it's going to be hinged on construction and housing. Selling housing to rich Chinese investors. I mean, I don't see any way Canada could a good GDP is based off of exports and production. And if we can't produce anything and we're selling off our mines and coal mines and everything to China, it doesn't, I'm just trying to put two and two together here. Part of the explanation will involve the introduction of the Canadian fuel standard. Here you go, more big words. A regulatory regime that will require all supplies of fossil fuels to reduce carbon content. Okay, do you know what's going to happen if we drastically reduce our carbon content? We're going to have a lot of hollowed... I know this sounds really weird, but if the trees don't have anything to breathe in, because the trees breathe this stuff in, right? And this is what keeps the trees alive. So when we're exhaling, the trees are inhaling, right? In return, they give us oxygen. You're going to have like new trees or trees that are coming and being replanted or seedlings. They're going to be a lot of hollowed out trees in about 50 to 100 years from now, hollowed out, because they don't have the nutrients. They're not having the carbon and the monoxide to breathe in. But signals are coming out of Ottawa in advance of throne speech indicate that the extra charges are coming to consumers and businesses will be costly. As home heating bills at the pumps dig even more deeply into Canadian pockets. So, okay, the solution to this, instead of looking at how much tonnage, and countries should look at, one, their land size, two, populations, okay, and then looking at the production, taking that into effect and actually aggregating it against how many trees and how many ways we have to siphon or filter these carbon monoxides and carbon into the filter, into the air. So I brought up Jamaica earlier because Jamaica, when I was in Jamaica, there's not a lot of trees. There's a bit of forests and a little bit, but they don't have nothing like Canada does. But I believe that Jamaica releases more pollution into the atmosphere, and Canada would suck it up through its trees and vegetation, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, right? Or the Philippines. The Philippines is a great example. They produce more carbon and emissions and all that crap than what they could suck in or filter. So there's other countries to help, like Russia's close by with tons of forests, hundreds, millions of acres of forests there that could suck up this carbon. And if you guys understand, right, it's a cycle. It works in a cycle. It just doesn't work where we pollute and it sits there, right? No, it actually, there's a cycle, right? So Canadian individuals and small business owners are finally emerging from their COVID-induced hibernation. The Liberal government is putting together a plan to make their post-pandemic lives more expensive to meet or even beat its climate targets. The CFS has been in the works since the Liberals came into power, but a crucial detail in the draft regulations were delayed by COVID, and now expected to be published in the Canada Gazette in a matter of weeks. While the introduction of carbon tax was a political firestorm, the fuel standards has been a slow burner and has gone largely unnoticed, at least by consumers. So the fuel standard, price of fuel has been going up, even though the price of oil is down. Jonathan Wilkinson, the Federal Minister of Environment and Climate Change, said the CFS will diversify the economy to promote investment in clean solutions. It will create opportunities for farmers. Okay, here we go. Farmers. And companies producing renewable fuels will encourage investments in energy efficiency to help Canada save money and will promote faster development of zero emissions vehicles, he said in a statement. So I was having a discussion with the family yesterday discussing maybe we should go full solar panel. We have lots of roof on our house. Let's just go solar panel and get off the gas and go full electric because we have gas. And if it's going to go into double-digit percentages, this way. But hear me out, guys. I remember in states like Nevada and New Mexico, places like that, 20 years ago, they were promoting solar panels, solar power, be a contribution to the establishment and pollute less and blah, blah, blah. Well, that was great and all 20 years ago, but then 10 years later, they started making it illegal to get solar panels or on your property or do any solar projects on your property because it is taken away from the pockets of the big giants. So how do we follow this? So if I solar panel my house and I said, you know what, I'm taking a stand against this global change or global warming or Al-Qaeda or whatever they call it this week and say, you know what, we're going to take a stance against this and we're going to go ahead and go full solar at my house and I'm going to show the rest of my street and my neighbors how it's done. I do that and then the city comes and says, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you need the special permit. Oh, you're going to have to start paying this monthly now that you have solar. Now you have to. So how does one win anymore? That's the question. 6 years ago, when we had a massive oil crash, when oil went from $120 a barrel, to $20 a barrel, the price of food kept going up. Wait, the price of food kept going up when it was at $120 a barrel. Let me rephrase myself here. The price of oil went up to $120 about 6 years ago, and the price of food kept skyrocketing. Oh, it's expensive to export. Oh, it's expensive to transport, logistics, that, and gas is a huge factor of producing food and blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. Everybody bought that and hook, line, sinker. But then what happened later? The price of oil dropped to $20-25 a barrel within a matter of months. And what happened then? Tell me, people. The price of food stayed high. Why didn't the price of food go down? So there have ways of beating us at this. And people don't remember that. It's like, hey, the price of food should go down 30%. It didn't. If anything, it went up. And now with the food shortage, price of food's still going to go up. Now with natural gas and energy going into double digits, okay, I'm going to go full solar now. I'm going to end up saving $10,000 in 10 years if I go full solar. But are they going to allow me to go full solar? Are they going to allow me to do something about this, to fight and tackle this and be a member and contribution to society? Or would they allow me to? That's the question we need to ask now. When details are released, Ottawa will push the green recovery and jobs angle, claiming winners will include farmers and others who create biofuels, while the prospect of processing new low-carbon alternative fuels will attract foreign direct investment. No, foreign investment in Canada is buying up real estate and leaving them empty, and then buying out the locals, and then buying out companies and not hiring locals. Industries that will bear the brunt of the costs are less enthralled. The government likes to say the fuel standards is complementary to the carbon tax, but as industry groups point out, it is an addition to existing carbon pricing, a second cost layered on the same emissions over which many companies that use fossil fuels in their production processes have no control. So here it is here. I want to go to this part right here. The cost of implications for household industries are unclear, but the study by the Canadian Energy Research Institute in May 2019 estimated the impact of a 20% reduction in carbon intensity. The CERI suggests that the total fuel decarbonization cost of $15.3 billion a year, adding $84 or 4% to a household fuel bills, $62 or 2.8% to the cost of gas, and 13% to the fuel costs for industry. So the model proposed by the government allows businesses that can't comply with regulations to buy credits to make up a shortfall in the CRI model that credits were estimated at $200 per ton of carbon dioxide. So this is a big deal, guys. It's very long, but I'm not going to read it all. All I'm saying is our great leader has a lot of motions in place to, in my opinion, to really bankrupt the middle class. Now, a lot of the smart middle class, a lot of countries like Germany, Portugal, Greece, what they're doing now is, okay, think of it like this. People are saying, oh, why are they going to move to Europe for? It's pretty bad there. I'd rather be happy and die with nothing than be indebted and have... In Europe, everyone, like, I had a friend that he went to Portugal. He said he can't wait for this COVID thing to lift. He wants to go to Portugal again. He went to Portugal 2 years ago. He had the time of his life with his wife. He's asking me, how do I immigrate there? I know the language is a little bit of a problem, but in the big cities, people do speak English and French and other languages for tourism, right? But once you get out, that's the part you want to be part of. The small towns, the backpacking, the countries, the countryside of stuff. And another friend came back, told me he wants to go back to Spain. He's from Spain. He's moving back to Spain. He just can't live in Canada anymore. So a lot of these European countries have been smart. They're taking up to grandparents and even great-grandparents that are in the system to allow kids to apply for citizenship of that country. So I'm a Portuguese citizen, right? So for me, I could just go back to Portugal. I don't have to worry, right? But there's a lot of programs right now in the European Union where they're trying to take people back. And I think it's going to work, especially people that have property, real estate. I have a store. I could sell everything I have and live a very good life in Portugal, right? So that's something to think about, right? If Canada starts if the government starts ganging up on the middle class, we're in a lot of trouble here.
A tax on carbon means more money taken out of Canadians' pocket. Right. The Prime Minister is trying to sugarcoat the reality by saying carbon pricing, but Canadians are not fooled. That's a new tax. This is bad news for Canadians. They already pay for their share of taxes. Will the Prime Minister guarantee Canadians today that the price of their groceries, gas or heating will not go up because of this new tax?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians need economic growth and good jobs at the same time as we protect the environment. That's exactly what this government is showing the leadership around doing that has been lacking for far too long from the previous government. What we're also guaranteeing is that this tax, this pricing price on carbon will be...
Order. I know members are anxious to applaud the Prime Minister, but they should wait till he finishes his response.